In Grand Theft Auto 5, money was simple. You just did some missions, you got paid, you bought a car, and eventually you ran out of things to spend it on. You didn't even really buy a house because the characters kind of came equipped with them. Unless you're Franklin, and then you get that nice one in the hills, but they kind of seem to come with the story. But with being able to play the stocks and stuff in the game, there was really surprisingly a lack of stuff to blow the money on.
I'm rich, I'm miserable.
In Grand Theft Auto Online, it took that and turned it into a decade-long inflation spiral where new vehicles cost tens of millions of dollars and payouts had to keep climbing to match. Money stopped meaning anything. The prices for certain things just didn't make any sense, and that's because it was never intended to grow to what it is today. It was not built to handle what it has become. It's held together with duct tape and bubblegum, yada yada yada. Whatever. Grand Theft Auto 6's online, I'm sure, is going to be much better. Anyways, Grand Theft Auto 6 is kind of starting over here. They've learned from Grand Theft Auto 5. Rockstar has learned from Grand Theft Auto 5. And based on what Rockstar has actually shown and confirmed, the economy in the game looks like it's going to be far more central to the experience than anything that they've done before. Let me be upfront about something. Rockstar has not released a single official thing about how this in-game economy is going to work. There's no trailer explaining the gameplay systems behind it. There's no developer interviews about this. There's no blog posts or whatever about how earning and spending are going to be exactly structured. Everything we know is pieced together from only the trailers, the Rockstar Games website, Take-Two investor Corpo speak, and of course, the oh-so-sweet confirmed September 2022 development leaks. Thank God for those, and a small number of credible sources. So today, or tonight, I'm going to walk through all of this, and I'm going to tell you exactly where each piece of this information comes from, because this is kind of a out there subject, like maybe we're getting a little too ahead of ourselves. I just want you to know what is confirmed and what is speculation. And again, nothing is really confirmed until you have a controller in your hands, you're playing the game, yada yada yada, take with salt, all that crap. Let's get into this. So let's start off with what Rockstar themselves have put in front of us. If you read about the characters on the official Grand Theft Auto 6 website, something becomes obvious. Almost every character's identity in this game is defined by how they make money. Like Jason, working for local drug runners in the Keys. Brian, he's described to be a classic drug runner from the golden age of smuggling and still moving product through his boatyard. Raul Batista, he's a seasoned bank robber, always on the hunt for talent, ready to take the risks that bring the biggest rewards. Draquan was dealing on the streets to make ends meet before moving to managing music. The rap duo Real Dimes are shaking down local dealers and turning that into cold, hard cash. And Booby Ike, who runs a legitimate empire spanning real estate, a strip club, and a recording studio, has his own line that sums up the entire economic food chain of this game in one sentence. And that's: the club money pay for the studio, and the drug money pay for it all. And of course, a lot of this is flavor text, but Rockstar does go deeper with that. This is kind of where they wear the promotional materials on their sleeve. We've seen this in the past with how they've promoted other games too. The stuff they're saying here about their characters and all that paints a picture of what to expect. And these descriptions kind of suggest layered income streams, where legal revenue feeds into, legal businesses, which then fund other ventures. Every character on the website is involved in some form of economic activity, whether it's smuggling, robbery, dealing, entertainment, or real estate. And I know you're like, no duh, it's the criminal underworld. Why else would you be involved in crime? Money. And the game's own synopsis describes the central conflict as an easy score that goes wrong, that launches Jason and Lucia into a criminal conspiracy that stretches across the entire state of Leonida. Then look at the locations. Rockstar wrote a specific description for Port Gellhorn, talking about cheap motels, shut down attractions, and empty strip malls, and how they won't bring tourists back. But there's a new economy in this once popular vacation spot. It's fueled by malt liquor, painkillers, and truck stop energy drinks. So boom, there's a keyword: economy. Man, I'm really digging deep on this one, right? But seriously, it's like they're framing every single region on the map in economic terms. What opportunities can be exploited? Ambrosia is described as a place where the Allied Crystal Sugar Refinery provides the jobs and the local biker gangs provide almost everything else. Vice City's description references the hustle and greed of America captured into a single city. And no duh, it's Vice City. Alongside the bootleg brands of the Tishawaka Flea Market, and this is a world where commerce, both legal and illegal, is baked into the setting at every level. Now, let's talk about the trailers. There's a shot that IGN flagged in their own 89 detail breakdown thing where Jason Jason slams his hand on a cash register. IGN specifically noted that this appears to confirm holding up stores is back, which that was in Grand Theft Auto 5, it just wasn't very fleshed out. There's also a full bank robbery sequence at the Sin Frontera National Bank, with Lucia holding up suited employees under emergency lockdown lighting, and later in the trailer, a pickup truck is dragging what appears to be an entire bank vault through the streets, and that's pretty freaking sweet. Also, during this robbery, we kind of get a little bit of a look at this disguise system. That's already like 3 things of criminal income visible in one trailer. We got petty store robbery, organized bank heists, and straight up vault theft, which would be really fun with the Euphoria physics. So other than robberies, this trailer also kind of shows that Jason perhaps works a legitimate job at the Leonida Marine Center, based on his t-shirt. Brian's boat works and marina, operating as a front for drug smuggling and a variety of commercial businesses across Vice City and the Keys. There are convenience stores, bars, strip clubs, nightclubs, flea markets, and what appears to be a pawn shop in Port Gellhorn. Now, whether all of these could be interacted with economically is currently unknown, but the density of commercial spaces in the footage is significantly higher than anything shown in Grand Theft Auto 5's promotional materials. Not to say that the Grand Theft Auto 5 trailers didn't have a bunch of stuff that we didn't personally interact with, like how it set up Michael in front of the building that has never been finished, having us think that maybe we're gonna like take over the city and build buildings and stuff. I don't know, that was speculation from 2013, 2012, whatever, it's been forever now. Anyways, that's really all we have to go off of when it comes to these legitimate sources. And now you might be saying, Andy, aren't you getting a little ahead of yourself with a video like this? Well, yeah, but I'm kind of curious how this is going to look. And I figured we have enough information now to at least kind of paint some sort of picture. Also, back in September of 2022, we were blessed with a lot of leaks, specifically 90 clips of early Grand Theft Auto 6 development footage that was posted to the Grand Theft Auto forums. And for those of you who haven't seen it, Rockstar did confirm that the breach was real the following day. And in those clips, there are several things directly relevant to the economy. Now, the reason I'm not saying that these are something that we can pull from with the same credibility as the trailers and all of that is simply because this is alpha development footage. So any and everything that was revealed could be stripped from the game. So one of the most discussed things when it comes to the economy of Grand Theft Auto 6 that was seen in these leaks is something I've talked about in my previous videos very recently, and that's the money laundering icon. There's some footage of a robbery sequence at a location called Hank's Waffles, and there's an icon that appears near a car wash property. Now, the icon is a washing machine with a $sign inside of it. Now, this is widely understood to be a symbol for money laundering, and I've joked around, or it just means you can buy a laundromat, right? But obviously, it's a money laundering thing. Come on. Gaming Bible, among other outlets, covered this and noted that the presence of this icon alongside a purchasable business suggests players may need to process dirty money through legal fronts. That is a mechanic that has never appeared in a Grand Theft Auto single-player game before. Well, maybe. It's been a while since I played Vice City Stories, and I don't really remember too much how the business side of things worked in that game. But just a little side note, in every Grand Theft Auto Vice City, we've been able to do some sort of empire building. In the original Grand Theft Auto Vice City, we were able to buy up a bunch of businesses, generate revenue. Vice City Stories took it a step further, being able to manage these businesses. But look, I need to really lay it home that this was in the early development stuff, okay? It could have been cut out, changed, or redesigned entirely since 2022. That was 4 years ago now. What we can say is that at some point during development, Rockstar was building a system where the type of money you have mattered and needed to be laundered. And I seriously doubt that it was taken out of the game. If I'm just being honest, the only reason I'm saying that other stuff is to cover my butt. But the leaks also showed a limited inventory system. The interface included categories for a duffel bag and a loot bag, which means players can only carry a certain amount of weapons and stolen goods at once. So if you fill your bag with cash during a robbery, you might have less room for weapons. And that kind of ties into the economy thing, because this means there could be a physical limit to how much money you can extract from any given source. You would then have to choose between grabbing more loot or staying light enough to escape. And we know Rockstar is really big on immersion, so having some sort of money encumbrance system thing, it'd be kind of cool. There was also a visible timer, of course, and if you're familiar with the leaks, you know about this, but it was the time until the cops would dispatch, and that popped up during robbery sequences, along with what appeared to be a witness management system. Now, players seem to have the ability to also use zip ties to restrain NPCs during holdups. Lucia's inventory included specialized tools, like a tracker jammer and a mobilizer bypass, I think a USB drive, and also an auto dialer. And all of these kind of point to something pretty interesting when it comes to how Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to go about having us complete missions and stuff like that. And that's that there's going to be preparation this time. The game loop is going to be built around preparation and tools, rather than just pointing a gun at someone and collecting some quick cash. And that preparation and maybe some sort of money encumbrance system would really make you have to earn that money, but in kind of a less grindy way. I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. One particularly interesting detail covered by multiple outlets analyzing the leaked footage is what appears to be a special ability for Jason station that lets him scan interiors and highlight valuable items. Now, if that mechanic made it into the final game, it would mean robbery targets are not all created equal. Walking into a store and casing the place before deciding whether it's worth it or not, worth the risk to take whatever it is you want to take, that would change how you would think about earning money entirely. And there's this credible leaker, right? His name is GameRoll. GameRoll accurately predicted multiple details that were later confirmed by Trailer 2. And according to GameRoll, heists in Grand Theft Auto 6 are organized from a nightclub called The Vault. The nightclub name also appeared in early story leaks that gained credibility when Rockstar's own court documents filed as part of the dispute with the IWGB union over fired employees appeared to corroborate several details those leakers had shared. Now, I want to be careful here. Court documents confirming that employees were fired for leaking confidential information is not the same thing as Rockstar confirming every detail in those leaks. But come on, there's some overlap here, right? Between the stuff that was released and also the stuff that was seen in Trailer 2. And it's hard to ignore. GameRoll claimed the game features over 700 shops across the map, though even GameRoll acknowledged the definition of shop was quite unclear. So whether that means 700 unique robbery targets, 700 places to buy things, or some combination of both is entirely unknown. Well, unless you work for Rockstar. If even a fraction of that number represents stores you can rob or businesses you can own, the economic playground in this game would dwarf anything in Grand Theft Auto 5. So you see what I'm doing here? It's a bunch of puzzle pieces, right? We've got little bits and pieces of evidence all around, and we kind of have to just put them together to speculate. That's where we're at when it comes to what the economy is going to be like in Grand Theft Auto 6. And I wish I could have this video out and tell you guys exactly how things are going to be, but to tell you anything else would just be dishonest, and I'm not trying to do that on this channel. I'm trying to get excited about this game with you guys and talk about what's real and what's not. So what can we actually piece together with these puzzle pieces? Well, the confirmed and strongly supported evidence points to an economy built on several connected layers. At the bottom layer, you have petty crime, store robberies, shakedowns, and small-time hustles. And this is, of course, visible in the trailer and described in character bios on the website. Well, at least it used to be. I think they removed the bios. I don't even know anymore. Above that, you have organized crime, bank heists, vault robberies, drug smuggling, and what may be coordinated crew-based operations. Raul Batista's description alone tells you that robbery is a career path in this game, with escalating risk and reward. And above that, there appears to be a legitimate business layer to all of this, where legal operations like strip clubs, recording studios, boatyards, and real estate are funded by those criminal proceeds. Kind of like how Booby Ike has it all laid out with the recording studio, strip club, all that jazz. So if this money laundering mechanic from the 2022 leak survived into the final game, these layers would not just serve the narrative. They would actually be part of the gameplay. There would actually be an economic loop. You would commit crimes to earn dirty money, then launder it through businesses to unlock spending on legal purchases like property, vehicles, and other assets. And I think that is infinitely more fun than how they had it set up with the stock market in Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, that is speculative, but it is speculation grounded in what Rockstar themselves put in the development build and what their own character descriptions told us about how money moves in Leonida. It also fits with the path that Rockstar's been on. Like I said earlier, Grand Theft Auto Vice City let you buy businesses that generated passive income. But let's step outside of Vice City. Let's look at Grand Theft Auto San Andreas that added territory control. Hell, Grand Theft Auto 5 had assassination missions that let you manipulate the stock market and business properties that you could purchase after this story.
Excuse me, Jose.
Grand Theft Auto Online built an entire economy around running businesses. We had biker clubs, nightclubs, executive cargo operations, all of that stuff. Red Dead Redemption 2 went in the opposite direction, and it stripped down the economy and brought it down to something a little bit more raw and limited, where money was more scarce and every dollar counted, where a haircut allegedly cost gold bars. So each of these games kind of move the economic model forward in some ways, and in other ways kind of step backwards. None of them ever combined all of these ideas into a single cohesive system, though. The evidence from Grand Theft Auto 6 suggests that might finally be what Rockstar is going to attempt. Another thing worth addressing is that Take-Two Interactive, Rockstar's parent company, has made its financial expectations for Grand Theft Auto 6 extremely clear. In one of their most recent earnings calls, CEO Strauss Zelnick stated that fiscal year 2027 would establish a new financial baseline for Take-Two, driven by the November launch of Grand Theft Auto 6. That CEO language for this game will permanently change how much money our company makes. And it's like, dude, no crap, right? We know this. But Grand Theft Auto Online's recurrent consumer spending, which is Take-Two's term for in-game purchases, grew 27% year over year in the most recent quarter alone. Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold over 225 million copies. The GTA Plus subscription membership nearly doubled. So how does Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto affecting the real-world economy affect the economy in the game itself? Why does this matter to the in-game economy? Well, because Rockstar has to build a single-player economic system that feels satisfying and complete on its own, while simultaneously laying the groundwork for a multiplayer economy designed to generate revenue for the next decade. Now, those two goals can conflict. A generous single-player economy teaches players that money flows easily. A multiplayer economy built on microtransactions needs money to feel scarce. Scarce enough that spending real cash feels worthwhile, like with shark cards and stuff like that. Now, however Rockstar decides to balance that, it's really going to define whether Grand Theft Auto 6's economy feels rewarding or manipulative. I believe in single player, it's going to feel very satisfying and like you can go off and actually play the game and build your character up, but online it's of course going to probably feel extremely grindy. Although there is a lot of stuff out there suggesting that they're bringing in a bunch of roleplay kind of elements, so who knows how far down the rabbit hole they're going to go. Hopefully they can get rid of that grindy feeling that Grand Theft Auto 5 had while still providing that sense of accomplishment and moving forward. Because Grand Theft Auto 5's online, love it or hate it, it is very satisfying to make money and own businesses and all that stuff. It is. It's just slow and tedious and Jesus Christ, it takes forever. In a recent interview on the Game Business YouTube channel, Zelnick addressed the question of in-game advertising directly, saying, quote, "It's very difficult for me to believe that we would want to have interstitial advertising in a game that someone paid $70 or $80 for. It would seem unfair." Now, that tells you two things. The game is likely priced in the standard $70 to $80 range, and Take-Two is aware that the monetization strategy needs to feel fair. Whether it actually will remains to be seen, because man, those shark cards haven't gotten any cheaper, and well, it's been diminishing returns on what you can actually purchase with them in-game with the rising costs in Grand Theft Auto Online. Grand Theft Auto 6's economy will be layered, moving from street-level crime through organized heists to business ownership and possibly money laundering. I'm sure that's going to be a part of the game. Robberies will be more physical, more visceral, and more consequential than in past games, with a limited carrying capacity, timed windows, and witness mechanics adding real tension. Property and business ownership are almost certainly returning, based on the franchise's history, the 2022 leak evidence, and the way Rockstar describes its own characters as business operators. And the multiplayer economy will be designed from day one with long-term monetization in mind, because Take-Two's entire financial outlook really depends on it. What we can't confirm is the specific flow of money between those systems, whether clean and dirty money are tracked separately, how property purchasing will actually work, what businesses are going to be available, or how aggressive the monetization will be in the online component. I'm sure if I dug a little deep, I could probably figure something out about those properties, but anyways, these are kind of the biggest unknowns right now. And anyone telling you that they have the answers to all of this, well, they don't. They're full of it. But here's something I keep thinking about. Rockstar wrote a character whose quote on their own website is, "The drug money pay for it all." And they described an entire region's identity as a new economy. They showed 3 different scales of robbery in a single trailer. They built a money laundering icon in their development build, and they structured every character's biography around how they earn, spend, and move money. So the economy in Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't going to be just a feature. It seems that through their promotional materials, they're already trying to kind of get us ready for what will be its foundation. And I wish I knew more. But I don't. So that's everything I got on Grand Theft Auto 6's economy. At least everything we know about it so far. My name's Dandy Andy. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. Or you know what? Go ahead and just hit that subscribe button. Just follow along. We're on the Grand Theft Auto 6 hype train here on the channel. Tell me what else you'd like to see covered on the channel, because I love so many other games. It's just lately I've been doing the Grand Theft Auto 6 shtick. By lately, I mean like the past 6 months. But anyways, thanks again for watching. Here are 2 videos for you to check out. Other than that, have a great rest of your day, night, week, year, whatever. Just stay safe out there, y'all. Much love and peace.